I forgot. I'm having one of those unorganized days today. But we're gonna be doing an unboxing. I got a super exciting box of seeds here. But okay, I'm gonna drag you guys with me because this is also something super exciting that showed up yesterday. That sorry, I'm smashing the tripod through my house. All right, exciting stuff. Okay, I have it. You know what? Let me double check that I do have this. Okay, this is exciting teaser. So exciting that I'm smashing you through my house because I forgot about it. Okay, we're back. Okay, this is the moment. At least one person other than me and Ian has been waiting for the last few months. But we finally got our merch samples. They showed up. So here. Okay, well, since we're gonna be showing off the merch, we better do a vote because this merch is all about if you're team veggies, or if you are team flowers. So here we go. Here's team flowers. So there's Ian representing team flowers, and then here I am. Let's see. All right, and then there's team veggies. So yeah, obviously the best design. I'm gonna 100% say Team Flowers definitely wins the design vote. But obviously, I'm Team Veggies. I can't not be representing my team, right? So there we go. Team Veggies. There's my vote. But what about you guys? Are you guys team flowers or are you guys team veggies? Let's see tell me in the chat. What's your votes, guys? I'm seeing lots of votes for both. I gotta, one of these days, we've been filming this is our kids' playroom. And it's like crazy hot in here today. But at Christmas we bought this like Christmas ornament disco ball. And it always it shines lights. This is the exact time of day where the light comes in and it shines. Guys, my pet peeve is like when the camera isn't centered well. And it's doing the thing that drives me crazy. So I apologize for messing around with the tripod, but it'll drive me crazy if I'm talking about this stuff and I slowly disappear. Okay, team veggies. Okay, so the deal with the merch. It's the light on my nose. Okay, there we go. So the deal with the merch is we got these designs a couple weeks ago. Oh, and this has been on my to-do list all week, but apparently all the links on the YouTube videos are messed up, including because we had a big reset on our channel. I think maybe when we got the comments, it completely reset all of our standard settings. And so I went back in and tried to put it in, but I think maybe I used links that weren't proper links. So I have to go back and I have to fix all the links. So I don't even know that the link to the Teespring store even works anymore. I need to go get a new one. But so we wanted to get the merch. So this is we ordered up samples to see what it looked like. We ordered some of the t-shirts, and then we also ordered some of the hoodies so that we could see what it would look like printed. so that we could make sure that the design that we were sending out is a design that we're happy with. So now that we have it, our goal is this week, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to get in there and I'm going to get the designs all loaded in and make the little bit of changes that I'd like to see on them. And then I think our plan, like, don't hold me to this, but this is the plan unless chaos happens. But we want to get it all loaded up for Monday, right? So we'll basically, the plan is the new t-shirt designs of Team Veggies and Team Flowers. So then everyone can represent their teams with these ridiculous t-shirts that we made. We'll try to get them going so that they go live next Monday. So one more week for the other person other than me and Ian who has been excitedly waiting to get their Team Veggies and Team merch and Team Flowers merch. We were laughing last night because this tag is, it's a scratchy tag. So these came in the mail last night. Oh, I have a bow. Are you coming to join me, Bo? So these showed up in the mail last night, and we were laughing because basically, so we made all this merch last Christmas, so then we took the money that we made from the merch and we then designed and got these shirts. And I really like the painting that's like the house and the flowers and stuff. Like, I think it was really nice, and it turned out really well. But our joke is that we made this design that people would like so that we could make some money, so we could spend it all making merch that no one but me and Ian likes. But no matter what, it will be hilarious to get to wear our Team Flowers and Team Veggie shirts and our hoodies. Our hoodies are really funny. We get they're like complimentary, but everyone's representing their team. I'm like, oh, Ian, we're gonna have to do this photo shoot with it. It's gonna be so much fun. Okay, so that was the thing that I wanted to go over, but I don't want this to take a million years, because reminder for everyone else who just showed up now, I'm doing an unboxing, and there's some really fun stuff in here. And I'm a woman with a plan, guys. This is a plan being put into action. So this is actually a pretty good unboxing because it's like a theme. Because all of this stuff is basically stuff that isn't for this year, it's for next year, right? This is all basically getting ready for 2022, which feels crazy because I ordered this back in June. Okay, so I haven't made the video yet, but I've been filming for almost a year now, to make a video, and because I've been doing this experiment this is the backstory to the unboxing, just so you all know. So I've been doing this experiment with cool flowers. So Lisa Marie Ziegler has a book called Cool Flowers, and I think that she's in a pretty warm zone. I think she's in zone 7 or zone 8 or something. And the book is all about how you can plant things in the fall so that you don't have to plant absolutely everything in the spring, right? And then because a lot of these plants, they like the cool weather, they thrive being planted in the fall in ways that they don't necessarily thrive being planted in the spring. So I'm zone 5 here, and a lot of the book is kind of borderline for me. But no matter what, she still teaches about how you can plant them earlier in the spring than maybe how other people normally would plant stuff. Like the classic, everyone wants to, I plant everything May long weekend. This is about really pushing the dates as far back as possible. So we did this Cools Flower experiment where, what did we do? We did Bachelor buttons, we did larkspur, we did, oh, hey Sam.
Oh, where did Sam put down?
I think they're out in the yard. They're like under the trees, like hanging out. Yeah. So I don't know. Okay, yeah. I did Sweet William. I did Beplurum. I did Rocket and Chantilly Snapdragons. Yeah, and I think that's everything. And so the Sweet William, I thought it was growing, but it ended up being a weed. But I used it. It was a weed that actually ended up being pretty useful for when I had all my tulips blooming, so wasn't a complete loss. The Beplurum, I have no idea. Like I never saw it. The larkspur did good. The Bachelor buttons, obviously, those did good. They're weeds. I already knew that was gonna do good because they're invasive weeds all over my yard. They grow without water. And then the Snapdragons. The Snapdragons did quite well. And I feel like the Rocket maybe did even better than the Chantilly, which makes sense because so I grow Rocket and Chantilly. I grow Chantilly because it is earlier in the season. Rocket is more cold hardy. Chantilly still quite cold hardy, and it blooms earlier than Rocket. So they stagger plant really well. Yeah, and there's lots of information about different Snapdragons and stuff. And I think that Johnny's Seeds also did a big cool flower experiment. And because they're in a zone probably more similar to me. Whereas a lot of the information in the book was, the zone 5 stuff was very borderline. So I was really happy. Even though not everything worked out, I was really happy with how things worked out. And I had stuff like way, way earlier because of all those cool flowers. And the success that I had has me, thinking more about different things that I can do. And so this box is basically, my 2022 cool flowers experiment. And then I also bought some veggies so that I can have some fall planted veggies. This is like veggies that are kind of for the fall and winter. So I'll do the veggies first because then like once I get into the flowers I can kind of, talk a bit more about that. Okay, so I got this big, huge sack. I think about a pound. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is a pound. This is Tokyo Beacon, and this is, kind of like a mustard Asian green. And this stuff is supposed to be super, super cold hardy. And so my plan with this is I'm going to direct seed it, and hopefully it can survive some of like the freezes and everything. And it'll be kind of like a lettuce substitute. It'll be something that's really good to pick through our our cold season. So I'm going to give this an experiment. So I bought a big bag of that. And then I needed more lettuce. So what do I have in here? Let's see. So I bought more of my summer lettuces because I was worried that I was running out. So Muir, M-U-I-R, is my summer green frilly lettuce. And then my other summer lettuce that I do is magenta. And I found that these two, when I grew them last year, I think I did like 6 summer lettuces. Because the Salanova just doesn't do as good with the heat as some other stuff. So I found Muir and magenta, they did excellent with the heat. They were the best of everything. And magenta, it's green with some red tones, so that worked out good to be a little bit of a contrast. And then I bought Salanova green incised, Salanova green butter, Salanova red butter, and Salanova red sweet crisp, and Salanova green sweet crisp. So So I got, those are all my Salanova. The green incised I've never done before. But I think I bought it because I was saying it was a little bit more cold hardy. Oh, Bo! If the tripod is wiggling and there's weird vibration noises, that's because my cat is being a big cutie. Come sit. This is where he sleeps during the day when he hides inside. Okay, and so then the other veggie that I bought, this other lettuce, I bought this specifically because it was saying it was one of the, you know, the best kind of winter lettuces. So what I'm looking for is a lettuce that will not be affected by freezing. Because we have the high tunnels, but they still freeze, right? So if I can get a lettuce that doesn't care if it freezes, and the Salanova, the butter Salanovas actually do a really good job of freezing and then defrosting. But yeah, so if I can get some of those, because we start getting frost and freezes kind of like mid-October. But if I can get something that goes, you know, I can kind of keep harvesting through November, and extend my season a little bit, right? Like I can't plant lettuce like, you know, in October, that's not enough days. But if I can plant lettuce in September and it won't die when it freezes, then I have it still there just waiting for me to pick whenever I want to sell it. So this is Monte Carlo and it's a romaine lettuce. So I bought this to experiment with because it was recommended as like a good winter lettuce. And then the last is I have white Russian kale. So red Russian, really cold hardy, really good. And I've done Siberian in the past, and it's done really good for me for being very good winter hardy. And the white Russian sounds really similar to the Siberian. So, you know, like having the red Russian, the white Russian, they contrast a bit. And then the other kale, the other winter kale, which does like the best, is winter boar. So it does really excellent. Yeah, so I think that's all the veggies. Let me double check. Because I want to, yeah, okay. Then on to the flowers. I think I heard Ian. Hey, Ian, are you back? Yeah. Did you want to say anything on the live? I showed off the t-shirts and everyone said that what they really want to do is buy Team Veggies t-shirts because Team Veggies is their team. I don't even think he's listening to me, but okay. Gotta organize because I don't want to lose these. Well, maybe put clothes on. He's in his bathing suit.
You got a sleepy bow right now.
I know. He came running in. I think Bo thinks that I'm talking to him when I do these live videos. Oh, here, Ian. You can represent. Ian doesn't have a shirt on. And we don't want to get, you know, some inappropriate rating having this bare-chested man nipples in this video. So he better put on his, I think that might be the small. Still, okay, come represent your team, Ian.
Okay. Hey, everybody.
Okay, here, ready? Oh. Okay, lift your chest up.
I'm actually amazed at the details
I know,
and
it
the
looks
shading
so good.
that came out of the images.
There's like all these details on the shirts that we didn't even notice in the images until we got them printed. Right? Like the team flowers, the background of this isn't like, I thought it was just a solid color, but it's like a floral print in the background. There's no secret veggies in mine.
Yes, yesterday Serena's brother was here and he brought an old like super soaker water gun that he like was letting Sam play with, and then Sam loved it so much that he just let him have it.
Well, I was like, it's just to lend, but he had so much fun. I said he could leave.
Yeah. So then we just took him down to the beach, and Sam grabbed every water gun on the property, and they just had water gun wars.
Was it quiet or?
We went to what do you know how the first part of Pebble Beach is like shaded?
Yeah.
But it's not as good. But it was shaded for my parents.
So it was quieter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ian went down to the beach. Ian's family is visiting, which is exciting. Oh, okay. And so what I was saying to everyone for where to buy these shirts, because I know how can you wait a moment longer How do you not want to be wearing beautiful
I have to go
Ian?
get some stuff to drink though, and I put some pizza in the oven.
Okay. Are you gonna come back?
Eventually, but I'm gonna be a little while.
Okay. Well, I have
like,
seeds. When you come back, can you bring me some water?
I can bring some water right now.
Yeah. Okay. So the plan for the merch is that I'm gonna get it all set up because we don't have it yet. I just ordered samples because I wanted to make sure it looked good. But yeah, we're gonna get it all set up, and then we'll go live Monday. We'll launch it for Monday. So then that can be we can remind you all in the next live video because I think that'll work out. But now that we have Ian, this is gonna work perfect. So we're talking that because we're working on the video right now, but it's not gonna be ready for tomorrow.
Should be ready then.
Probably be like a Wednesday release for the video this week. But we're saying that for the week coming up, because Ian's parents are here, I can come down and join in the market.
Yeah.
And we can represent wearing our team shirts.
Yeah, now that it's done for today,
Yep.
the big with us.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
so. The plan is we will load them in for like t-shirts and for hoodies, and I usually do the merch for the tank tops too. But yeah. So and then for some of them I do the stickers. But I think this would work out quite well because they have stickers that are just like printed on a sheet. They have like line cut stickers, but they also have shirts. They also have them just printed on a sheet because I think that the shape of this would work quite well for that. Because I know I forget what it was, but people have like sent me pictures of having ordered the stickers and then they've like stuck it onto stuff like they made a "you can't eat the grass" water bottle, or they made like put like tomato-based life forms onto their laptops. I always think it's so interesting how people kind of put them all together. So they have like a canvas tote bag, and originally we put like the "you can't eat the grass" logo on a canvas tote bag, but I don't know. We've never sold a single one of those, and it's a little bit limited what I can do for putting stuff up. Under the shirts, I try to do like a bunch of color options, just so that, like people can customize it that way. But we do limit the items a little bit because there's only so many spots we can get in the store. And I think the merch, like we're starting to get so many designs that we might have to do a little cleanup on the store. We're not going to sell any of it at our actual market. And the reason why we have them set up like with Teespring instead of selling them, printing them and selling them or anything like that is we're in Canada, and so it makes it really difficult to sell down into the States. So Teespring does a really good job. They're great for us as Canadians to order from. They're great. They have like printing over in Europe too, so if anyone's in Europe, they have like their own thing, so it's not like trying to order something all the way from the States over to Europe. So they were a good option for us just to deal with all the international shipping. All right, I'm gonna drink some water and then we'll get into the flower seeds. Okay, so I already gave the backstory about having done this cool flowers experiment, and having some stuff work out and some stuff that didn't work out. But the other thing that it has me thinking is there's a lot of stuff that is perennial, that I can treat as an annual, doing this like cool flower technique, right? Because my hair's driving me crazy. I got this stupid thing in my hair. I'm leaning on it. Okay. Yeah, so okay. So I had some rudbeckia that I started in the spring, and I had no place to put them. Not this year, but the year before. And I was like, what am I going to do with these? They never ended up getting planted until like late in the summer, early fall. And I was like, they like these sad little dead plugs. And I was like, these aren't going to do anything. And then they overwintered, and the next year they were like incredible, big, lush, beautiful plants. They were super, super happy. And so, that kind of had me thinking like, okay, like perennials, I don't have to start them, right? Because the spring is so crazy. Like April and May, when I'm starting and planting everything, it's chaos here. So it kind of had me thinking like, okay, maybe I can start some of these perennials in the summer. Some of them bloom in the same year, so you could plant them in the spring and still have them bloom in the summer. But some of the perennials, they are, or like a biennial, right? They need 2 years before they get the flower, but you can plant it late in that first year and kind of still get flowers the following year. So it got me thinking. And then, so this year we had some feverfew that I planted, and normally I have some feverfew that like pops up. But I don't think it's perennial here. I think the feverfew that grows it overwinters as like little, the feverfew blooms in early summer, drops its seeds. Once the weather cools down, the seeds germinate, and they're these little tiny babies, and those overwinter, no problem. And then they bloom, and they're happy and they're beautiful, but then they die off at the end of the year. So I planted feverfew this year in the spring, and I'm loving having it. It's incredible. It's an incredible plant because it's really easy to work with, really versatile. But it would be great to not have to plant it in the spring. So, that's another one. Even like the yarrow, like I love the yarrow. I had these, I moved all of my yarrow, right? I'm picking yarrow like crazy right now. All of that yarrow got like dug up and moved and is still blooming and still happy, right? So I'm sure I could have yarrow planted in the fall, over winter, go through the spring, and then bloom. And then I don't have to worry about weeding it. I can pick it and till it in and plant something else, right? So there's a lot of these things that kind of have me thinking. So what did I get? Okay, so I have a pack of just like whatever purple echinacea. Like purple coneflower is like another common name for it. When will I plant these? All these cool flowers, I am hoping to plant this week. I'm gonna probably like be having like an entire day of seed starting. So echinacea, I love echinacea. So I've, at this point for the flowers, my decision is I am gonna concentrate on drought tolerant flowers, right? That has kind of been my approach from the beginning. The reason why I did that is I'm not that great at growing flowers, so I figured if I grew drought-tolerant flowers, it'd be stuff better adapted to our conditions here in the Okanagan, because we get no water, we get no rain. Everything's irrigated, but it would be less needy, right? I wouldn't have to worry, I didn't irrigate it for a day, it's dead now. And this, having gone through that heat wave, it kind of has only just reinforced the fact that I want to do those drought tolerant things, right? Because drought tolerant means that it can go through a heat wave a lot better than the stuff that isn't drought tolerant. Okay, but echinacea, I love echinacea. There's some incredible, really beautiful echinaceas out there, but I have a plague of grasshoppers here. The grasshoppers here are insane. And they just live in the dead grass. So as we get more of the farm under production, I'm hoping the grasshoppers get a little bit better. I'm probably going to have to look into seeing if there's some sort of like nematode or something that will like help me deal with it. Going into the future, I'm going to have to try to fight them a little bit because they eat everything. But the issue more for me for the grasshoppers is they spread a disease called, and I could be wrong that this is what the disease is called, but Astor's yellow. And what it does, I see Ian and I have this we basically only heard of this disease a few years ago, when we started thinking about growing cut flowers. And people all the time will be like, look at this really cool, multiple, it's like this mutant headed flower. People will be like, oh, isn't this cool? And Ian and I are like, yeah, cool, but Astor's yellow. And it's, I'm pretty sure it's a viral disease. So once, if you have a plant that's doing these mutated heads, that's it. It has it. And so for something like echinacea, the echinaceas are really, really prone to it. The rudbeckia is prone to it. The Shasta daisies is prone to it. Rudbeckia and Shasta daisies, super, super affordable to get, right? So I'm not, it cost me $1. If I get them, they get diseased, I can rip them out. And the rudbeckias, I'm thinking of just growing rudbeckia as an annual with this winter sowing idea. But these fancy echinaceas, there's a bunch of them. I really like them, but they're $5 wholesale even. So I don't really want to get them, have them on the property, and then they're already a weaker plant anyways. The genetics are already borderline for my zone, and then have them show up and the grasshoppers munch them and they get the Astor's yellow, and then, they look cool sometimes for these Astor's yellow mutations, but it's, so my plan is I'll use some of this. This seed is super cheap, so I was like, okay, whatever, I'll grow a couple trays of these echinaceas. Even if, for me, what I really want from the echinaceas isn't the petals, right? What I want is these spiky, crazy cone things that they do. So the cheapy ones will give me that as easily as the expensive ones, and then I'll have them for fresh or for dried. And then if they get Astor's yellow, I don't care. They're going to be just garbage plants anyways. This pack was cheap, and there's, let's see, there's, I got a 30 tooth amount of 130,000. Yeah, I don't know. There's probably 20,000 seeds in this pack. So that's that gives me 5 years before I have to worry about echinacea and grasshoppers. Okay, so the next thing that I have here is, I thought I had another pack. So this is Centuria or Bachelor buttons. These are weeds. I know for sure that these grow no problem. The way I am going to plant these is super late in the year, probably October when I'm ripping stuff out. I'm going to direct seed, a half bed of Bachelor buttons, and I have been doing mixes of Bachelor buttons. But when you have a solid color, it's easier to work with, right? Because if I pick an armful out of the same spot, it's all the same color, then I don't have to dig through the bucket. So what I did this year for the Bachelor buttons, instead of the mixes, I got solid colors. And so I got black button Centuria, and then I got Florist Blue Boy. So just classic blue, and then they're called black, but they're a deep purple. So, that'll be nice and versatile. I have this purple mix that I like, but they didn't have it. All this is from Johnny Seeds, I think. So some stuff was sold out. I didn't get everything I wanted to buy, because a lot of stuff was sold out until next year. But I wanted to just get it on hand because, like I said, I'm going to be planting this this week. So I was like, whatever, that's good enough. I'll work with that. Okay, then the next one, Burpellum Green Gold. This I had no luck with. I really want to, saying direct seed recommended, where plants are in bloom in early spring. So as soon as soil can be worked. Yeah, so this is a bigger pack. I think I'm going to try to direct seed it, same time as the Bachelor buttons. And then if nothing comes up, I'll direct seed it, early March, because I have enough in here that I can kind of play around. There's 5,000 seeds. I love the look of this. I'd love to have this. I've just never been able to grow it yet. Okay, what else do I got here? Let's go for this one. Larkspur. So huge success on larkspur. And the other thing that I don't really love larkspur. It's very cottage and like fluffy and frou-frou. And that's not my preferred look. So I struggle with using it because, everything else that I grow is very like punchy and structural. So the larkspur, it doesn't necessarily, in my opinion, complement everything that I grow. But oh my God, it dries so good. And the colors, like it holds its colors amazingly. So I'm super excited about the larkspur, even if I don't use it, just to grow it and then dry it. And yet again, I've been growing a mix, but I decided to get colors. So I got QIS dark blue. And so this is like almost like purple. Like it's this really rich, beautiful color. And it dries super, super colorful. And then I got misty lavender. And this looks almost like a gray. It's cool. It's nice. And this, I don't know about how it would dry, but like the color is really, really interesting. And then Carmen, QIS Carmen. So that I have, and like the color is amazing, and it dries and holds like all of its color. So I have a half bed right now of larkspur that's starting to get ready to bloom. It's probably all going to come on this week and next week. And I have so many flowers that I think I might just chop it and hang it all, and it's going to give me like mountains of colorful dried flowers. So maybe I will experiment with that for doing wreaths, because it's nice and big and bulky. So I could use it. I feel like it would be easy to work with to do wreaths, because everyone's always like, do wreaths, and I'm like, no, because I wouldn't want to make money, and wreaths take forever, and they take like 100,000 flowers, and then people only want to pay so much for it. But I feel like there's a chance with the larkspur that I can put them together and still have them in the price point where people want to pay, but still have the labor be low enough that I can afford to do it. So that might be what I experiment with. And so like I said, larkspur, I'm going to direct seed that one. Okay, and then Virgo Feverfew. And if I remember, I think this is the yellow one. There's like a yellow Feverfew. I think I got a yellow and a white. In the Feverfew, my plan for this is I'm going to start this in seedling trays this week, and then I'll grow them out for about a month, maybe longer, depending on how slow they are. And then I will plant them into the ground. They'll overwinter, get flowers the next year. Okay. Champagne Bubbles Poppies. And so I grew this year. These were a pain in the butt. I couldn't get them to germinate. But once they, I had some germination, I got them into the ground, and they're like blooming like crazy. They've been fairly happy. And so the pink, I did the orange, the red, and the pink, and I really like the pink. But I haven't cut a single one of them. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what the plan is with this. I was buying everything is probably what the plan was with that. Okay, what else? Okay. This is Viola brush strokes. So these are like little pansies. And the idea for these are super cold hardy. So I might start some now to be able to have some flowers for doing in salad mix over the fall and winter. And then they're nice to have early in the year for salad mix too. But they're not super usable as cut flowers. This is more like they grow in the cold weather for salad mix. Okay, here's the other one. Magic Single Feverfew. So that's the Feverfew, and it's what I'm growing this year. So I don't know. I think that we had the Feverfew in the last video that we did. I think we had some of the Feverfew. Yeah, because I had it for the roadside stands. I was using it. Yeah, so the Feverfew that's been showing up in the videos, that is this magic single, and that is going to be getting started this week. Oh, here, another veggie. Okay, I'll talk about that at the end. Okay, white glitter Euringium. So I have sea holly. They're like, I love it. But they're big. They're these like big, they look like thistles, like purple thistle. They're super spiky and they dry really well. But there's also like a mini one that does, that looks like, I love them. I love them all. Everyone loves them. And then they make such amazing dried flowers. So they were sold out of the purple. There's like a purple mini, and then, but they still had some of the white glitter. So I figured, you know, I'm doing some perennials. I'll throw in a tray of this anyways. But my plan was when I go to do my perennial order, so in the fall, I order perennials that show up in the spring from our wholesaler. And when I do that, I'm probably going to order some of these mini ones anyways. So, you know, that's just like, what's another tray when I'm already doing a million trays? And then I have another perennial that I'm going to be doing this week is Prairie Sun rudbeckia. And Prairie Sun is like a rich yellow with like a green. It's like a two-tone. You'll be seeing 100 million rudbeckia coming up in all the videos because I have like an ocean of them. I have a million. I love them. I think they're great. But the one that I'm picking is Indian Summer. This is Prairie Sun. This is like a little bit fancier than the Indian Summer. But this one's also a little bit more perennial in theory than Indian Summer. Indian Summer like doesn't, you know, kind of comes, half of it comes back the next year. But yeah, so I'm excited to have some of this because I would love to have some of it right now. And then the other rudbeckia that I don't have this year, and I'm going to be missing it because I think I made like the best flowers ever video, and this was like one of them, is Rudbeckia trilobia. If you follow Florette at all, she's like obsessed with this. She's the one who got me hooked on this. And it's like a mini cluster of like little mini rudbeckias, and it's like an amazing filler flower. It takes up tons of space, and it like grows like crazy. It grows like 6 or 7 feet tall. I had it last year. It did really good, and then I had half of my seed pack still left, and I planted it twice. I did 2 trays, and nothing ever grew. So I think that the seed, either something happened to my seed or it's very short, like it's not very shelf stable seed. So I got a new pack, and I'm gonna do half of it to see if it'll overwinter, because this one's kind of borderline, I think. Woo! I've lost it. I've lost it already. Fell into the couch. But yeah, I'll do half of it, see if it overwinters. The other half I'll save. Hopefully I don't destroy it this time because I really would like to have it next year. Okay, let me do... Oh, okay. So another rudbeckia, Cherry Brandy. This one isn't perennial. So this one I can't overwinter. This one won't survive. But I think I didn't realize that until after I put it into the cart. Oh, okay, here. There's more Bachelor buttons. I thought I bought more Bachelor buttons. Okay, so I have Choice Mix Centuria Bachelor buttons. So I do have a mix after all. So I'll have solid black, which is like a purpley black, solid blue, and then I'll have the mix. So then I'll have some options. What else do I got here? More viola, pansy, little things. Helen Mount. I don't know. I can't remember. I was buying some of them to be able... I think my plan with these is I'm going to plant them soon. I'm just going to like direct seed them. And then as soon as the weather cools down, they should grow and then flower for me for the fall. Because... So I have nasturtiums. I totally messed up on doing flowers for my salad mix, which is fine because, you know, and people like the flowers in the salad mix, but I don't have to have the flowers in the salad mix. But I like to do nasturtiums, like I still don't have nasturtiums yet. They just got planted super late. But I will have some coming in the summer, but nasturtiums are super frost intolerant. They're very tender plants, whereas the violas, the pansies, those, when the nasturtiums get killed off, they'll kind of be happy, just have the cooler weather. So if I plant some of these now, I can have some flowers for the salad mix. Okay, another one. I haven't done this before as like an overwintering, but I'm doing the logic of, trying out some of these things that in theory should work. So I have a Dara, which is an Ami, which is, so basically they're like a carrot, right? So they make a big taproot and then they flower after they make the big taproot, right? So this, it's saying this is only 75 to 85 days. Some of the Amis are like 100 to 120 days before you get flowers. So my plan is if I plant it in the fall, I'll get early flowers on it. And then you could still plant it in the spring and get flowers in the summer. And then what else do I got here? Yarrow. I obviously don't have enough yarrow because I need all the yarrow in the universe before I'm satisfied. And so I bought the Summer Pastels mix from Johnny Seeds. And this, I think that I'm trying to think of the name of the mix that I currently have. Colorado mix. So I'm currently growing Colorado mix, which is the pinks. And it's, I don't know. I haven't been super happy with it. I will say last year was my first year with it, right? So last year was first year flowers. The flowers are a lot nicer on it this year. A lot taller. The colors are a lot nicer. I'm almost guessing that maybe some of the colors didn't bloom in their first year, right? Because last year it seemed like everything was just the same pink. Whereas this year I have some of these like really buttery yellows, and like a lot of different pinks. Like I'm a lot more happy with the mix this year. But I'm doing the summer pastels anyways. And it's supposed to be high enough. So the one thing with the yarrow is not all the yarrows are high enough. Or let me rephrase that. Not all the yarrows have good long stem length that makes them super usable for cut flowers. A lot of them, the stems, they're shorter, so they look great, but they it's too hard to use. Right? So like a perfect example is, so I have like the yellow, the orange, and the red that I bought as like plugs that I had this year. The yellow, amazing, super tall, like just incredible, the length on it. The terracotta, the orange, incredible, so happy, so long, so usable. But then the paprika's a little short, which is the red one. So I'm glad to have a little bit. I'm not going to be adding more of that to the garden. It's probably more useful as a plant, as like a garden plant. And same with same with this Colorado mix. Some of them are taller, some of the colors a little bit shorter. So, I'll see what this summer pastels. There's also a summer berries, and I feel like, did I buy that? Let's go through. Maybe I did. Maybe I did buy it. Because I would have bought that. No, I don't have it. Yeah, but I would have bought that if they had it because they're just a little bit brighter. So the summer pastels are like the faded, lighter pastel colors, like the name implies. Summer berries, similar mix, brighter colors. And I'm all about the bright colors here, so I would have probably gone for that. Okay. So I have another Feverfew. I have Magic Lime Green. And yeah, so the color on this. So Virgo. So I think maybe this is the one that's yellow. Maybe this Magic Lime Green is the yellow one. and then Virgo is the double. I can't remember off the top of my head. They had a few other Feverfews that I wanted that were sold out. But yeah, I'm excited to have a mix of colors. And especially to have one that's not just the white. It'll be fun to have the yellow of the lime one. Okay, and then I got Indian Summer Rudbeckia. And then this is the one that I was saying that I have like a million of, but I love it. Like this Rudbeckia is incredible. The flowers are massive, and especially the first flowers. The very first one is like, like, what? And like everyone looks at them and they're like, what is that? That's, oh my God, I don't even know what this flower is. And then they kind of slow down and the flowers start to be more small, and fair enough, that's fine, because they what am I saying? Oh, they're almost too big. They're almost too big to use. But yeah. So I really like that, but I think that one does a lot better as an annual, but it overwinters, right? So that's another one I'm going to be doing this year. But yeah, I love the Indian Summer. And this is like crazy. So I found some self-seeded in the farm, like not near where they've ever grown, like just like super weird, because like we weed. Oh, thank you so much. The stickers amuse me so much. Thanks so much, Sylvain. I don't know. I'm not even Farmer Chick. That's me not knowing how to say your name. I'm horrible at pronunciation. Okay. Yeah, the Indian Summer, crazy. I bet you if I like just let it go in an area of the farm, it would self-seed and it would just be this like crazy patch. But it's like, it's difficult to weed perennials, right? So I'd almost prefer to plant out these plugs and not have to like deal with all the invasive grass, which is why we're doing it this way this year, where we're going to be planting them in the fall, they bloom in the spring, and then I just rip them out when they're done. Okay, and then the last thing, which is, probably one of the ones I'm the most excited about, is Snapdragons. All these Snapdragons. So my absolute favorite Snapdragon is the Rocket. It's not fancy. It's like not the one that florists grow. It's not like a greenhouse. It's not a greenhouse Snapdragon. It's like a field grown Snapdragon. It's like classic. But I love it. It's exactly what I want out of a Snapdragon. It's very, very, very cold tolerant. Not quite cold tolerant that they perennialize where we are. We're zone 5. But I know zone 6, people talk about them perennializing. Or like if you have them planted in your like up at the foundation of your house, where like the heat of the concrete over the winter, just keeps it that little bit warmer. It's a really good one, and I like the mix. I like the colors in the mix. I'm definitely not upset to grow it, and it's cheap relatively to like a bunch of the other like more florist style Snapdragons. So what I did, because I like, first of all, okay, so Snapdragon seeds is like, imagine sand, and then you like put it through a mill to make sand as fine as possible. That is how big Snapdragon seeds are. They are a pain in the butt. You cannot, for the life of me, you cannot like single seed them. So what I do is I like just sprinkle them on a tray, and then I'll prick them up. Like I'll pull them, like when the seedlings come up and there's like 5 in the plug, I'll rip it apart and then I'll replant them if I have to. That, like, to me, that is preferable than trying to like fight with these. But the Rocket is so cold hardy, and the seed is cheap enough that what I am thinking is that I am going to, I have this is 10,000 seeds. I got 2 5,000 packs. I'm going to take one of these 5,000 packs and I'm going to direct seed Snapdragons in the fall, right? because they are a pain in the butt to do plugs. I know they self-seed grade because I have them pop up in the spring in the flower farm all the time. So why can't I, in the fall, direct seed them into rows and then have them come up, right? And just have them that way. So I bought lots. I'm going to do some experiments. And then I have lots so I can grow a million if my experiments don't work out. And then, okay, this I'm super excited about. Okay, you know what? I'll talk about that one after this. So then the other one that I have, so Potomac is kind of like the fancier version of the rocket, right? They look really similar, and then they're kind of like the summer. They're summer blooming. So Potomac, so rocket, you know, it's kind of like whatever. Johnny's only sells rocket as the mix. You can't get individual colors of the rocket. So my favorite color in the rocket mix is bronze. The bronze rocket I love. They're my favorite. And I bought a pack of them from GeoSeeds, and so I have some, like I had some left. Right, because I do a tray usually of just bronze every year. So I have some of those in the garden that will be blooming. You know, they're budding up, my snapdragons. So, but probably a couple weeks. But the colors are just amazing. But to get from Johnny Seeds, I had to get the Potomac, and so it's called orange instead of bronze, but it's the same look. It's the same kind of pink and orange coloring. So I love the color so much that I bought the Potomac to next spring be able to have a pack on hand to do that. So losing them, they're falling into the couch. Okay, and then the last thing, this I'm excited about. So I grow Chantilly because it is an earlier blooming snapdragon, right? Rocket is more of like a summer blooming. So if I in the spring, if I plant, so yeah, so I've seen a couple times people talking about Madame Butterfly. Okay, so Chantilly is like a poor man's Madame Butterfly. You know, it's the same kind of look where it's like open and frilly. But I don't like it. I don't like Madame Butterfly either. I love how like structural the just classic snapdragons look. That's what I want. I don't want these frilly things. You know, I don't do wedding flowers. So I don't need these soft, frilly, romantic flowers. The only reason why I keep doing Chantilly is just that it blooms 2 weeks earlier than Rocket, right? So for the first time ever, I took the 5 minutes it took to sit down and actually read through, because there's a bunch of different varieties, and so I'm trying to remember I don't know that the word is like, I want to say it's like series 1, series 2, series 3, but I don't think it's like series is the word. But basically, when you shop for snapdragons, they're like called these, like they have like these different categories, like these different like numbers, and what it is that they're all timed to bloom at specific times, right? So if you want snapdragons that bloom in the spring, you grow series 1. Snapdragons that bloom, you know, in early summer, series 2, right? Like, so they're all like, they're staggered right after each other, right? So the idea is, if you want snapdragons all year long, what you do is you buy a snapdragon from all the different series. I'd never bothered because I'd been buying my snapdragons just for pure convenience from William Dam. And they had Chantilly, which just bloomed a little bit earlier than the Rocket. So basically I could plant those at the same time, have them timed for these series. Ideas for me. But then they bloom and I'd be like, I hate Chantilly. Like, I'm glad to have snapdragons, but like, and I'm using it because they're ready earlier. But yes, group. Thank you. So it's not series, it's group 1, and there's 4 of them. Yeah, and they all bloom at different times. And then some, and I think it might have to do with they bloom based on how many hours of light they're getting. Yes, this is what I'm getting to, living on a prayer. So I finally sat down and I like read through the information and like, took the minute it took to actually understand what it was saying. And I realized that Costa Snapdragons are going to do exactly what the Chantilly's do, right? So they're still nice and cold hardy, like the rocket, but they look like rocket. They're not these frou-frou Chantilly ones, right? The Chantilly, they're like half open and like fluttery. These proper hard structural. Ian's been joking that I like brutalism. These are back into early season brutalism Snapdragons. So I'm super happy that no more Chantilly. Though I saw someone on Instagram who like had these like armful and they were gushing about loving the Chantilly, and I was like, I like those. No, maybe I do want Chantilly, and I'm like, no, there's no Chantilly. We're not doing it. Because even if I think I like it in other people's pictures, I see it and it's like it's all pink. It's like this like baby pink, and that's not my favorite color. And the yellow's all like a buttery yellow, and I'm like, no, bright yellow, bright pink. Oh, thank you so much, Christine. Yeah, yeah. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited to be trying out the Snapdragons. Like I love the Snapdragons. And I've had so much fun having so many Snapdragons this year. There's basically, I think so I had Snapdragons this week, but they're done. And then I'm going to probably not have Snapdragons this coming up week, but I wouldn't be surprised if I have Snapdragons for the week after. And I think that those Snapdragons will probably carry me all the way through, right? So it's an incredible feeling to have like one of the first flowers being Snapdragons to all the way one of the last flowers being Snapdragons, because I really love them, and having buckets. The smell of Snapdragons is, I never realized they had a smell until I had buckets worth to pick. They smell like grape candy, but it's subtle. So like if I have multiple buckets in my room where I store all of my cut flowers, if I have multiple buckets, I step in and it smells like grape candy. But yeah, if I don't have, if there's only like a half bucket, it's not quite strong enough to be able to smell it. But I love it. I think they're wonderful. They're one of my favorites. Okay, and then we're almost done, guys. Look at this, incredible. I explained cool flowers and went through a mountain of seeds, and it didn't take me 4 hours. I'm on a roll, guys. I better keep doing more shopping. It usually takes me a million hours. Okay, so the last thing that I have, these are 2 more veggies, and these are, I'm going to give an experiment for the fall. So I bought a pack of Joy Choy because I'm out of Joy Choy. And this is my favorite. We don't normally do choys in the fall because we have very hot Septembers. So what ends up happening is that I'm brain farting. Okay, taking a moment. We have very hot Septembers. So ideally, I would want to be planting fall crops in end of August, beginning of September, because of the daylight hours, right? We're in Canada, so we do start to get limited for the number of daylight hours. So like, because when's the equinox? The equinox is in like September 21st or 22nd or whatever. Yeah. So like that's, we're on our way towards like dark winter nights in September. But it's still so hot, right? September's so hot that things don't do well. So that's why we don't do this like whole cycle, right? So I'm very distracted, but I know what I'm trying to say here. So what I'm trying to say is, in other places, they have like a spring season where you have all the spring crops, and then they have a summer season where you have all the summer crops, and then they have a fall season where they have all basically the spring crops again. Where we are, we have the spring season and we have the spring crops, and then we have the summer season and we have the summer crops, and then the summer crops just keep going. They go and they go and they go, right? Like that's one of the things that makes the growing tomatoes here so incredible. We don't have any sort of disease or anything, and like we're so low humidity, being like a desert type conditions here, that we end up having this beautiful September for growing all these summer crops still. So tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchinis, all these summer things, they're thriving and happy all the way through September, whereas in other places they would have finished off through the heat of the summer, and things would be cooling down, and you'd be into these like back into the more spring type stuff. And so because of that, bok choy doesn't do great, right? Because I have to plant it, and it doesn't like the heat, and it bolts, and then you never get anything. But so we normally do joy choy. We like joy choy because it's the most bolt tolerant, and it gets quite large, right? So we do joy choy in the spring. We put it out when it's cold, right? We start planting joy choy like in April, right? And so May we start getting like heat, and then the heat of May makes the joy choy bolt, but it means that we get to harvest it during May. I've tried it a few times, planting it out in beginning of September. It's just bolted. It's never formed a head, right? So I bought joy choy again, and then I bought me king choy, which I've grown before, and this I don't grow because it's not super bolt tolerant, right? This bolts very easily. So it ended up being on the like, nope, no grow list. Never growing it again. Even though I like it because it's a green choy, whereas joy choy is a white choy. But my plan for this year is the Me King is actually cold tolerant, right? So I've not grown it because of the fact that it bolts in our heat. But so my idea is that I'm going to, instead of planting it in September when it's too hot, I am going to plant this in a covered space, right? Because I could plant this into like my tomato greenhouse in beginning of October, so it's covered, to give it a little bit more heat, but it's not going to be like summer style heat because by October it starts to cool down. And then if it gets hit by the frost, it will be more tolerant to the cold, to the freezing and the frost. And so maybe now in November I can be picking baby heads of choy to sell, to have just a few more options, right? Because if the trick is to kind of get that season extended, right? Okay, I need to get all these veggies together. Yeah, right? So we've been doing pretty good at getting things going early in the spring, right? Like this year, the cucumbers came on. Like, okay, so we are growing in an area that is a little bit behind where most of the farms in Kelowna are, right? So we're like up a hill a little bit, and we're like away from town a little bit. We're just a tiny bit colder. Most of the other farms in our area are growing in an area that is about 2 weeks ahead of us, and then they also get 2 weeks later for frost than us, right? So we basically have like a month less of frost-free dates than a lot of the surrounding farms. So that puts us at a little bit of a disadvantage for being first to market with things, right? Because so when we go to market next weekend, everyone's gonna have cucumbers, right? Every single farm's gonna have 1,000,000 cucumbers. If you are the first farm who has cucumbers, you will sell all your cucumbers because everyone wants cucumbers, right? But at this point, the market is flooded. No one's going to be able to sell all of their cucumbers unless they like are smarter than me and didn't grow 100 feet and so have limited amounts. But yeah, so if you're the only person who has something that is desirable, it doesn't matter if you're the only person who has something that no one wants. That doesn't make it easy to sell. But if you're the only person who has something that everyone wants, then you can sell it very well. And then if it's good, I mean, if you grow it and it's bad and it doesn't taste good, and everyone buys it from you and they're like, oh, that was gross. Why did I buy it from those people? I'm never buying that from them ever again. But you can get people into the habit of buying from you when everyone has stuff if you're the first person to have something, right? So that is kind of like the advantage. You know, and a lot of us farms grow the same things, right? Like everyone grows choy choy. If you want choy, everyone's growing choy. We all have it all spring long. But we have purple kohlrabi. Most people grow the green, and I don't blame them because I grew the green this year, and it's like it's easier to grow, and I personally prefer it. But people really like the purple, right? So, and then we're the only person who has it, so you know we get some sales on that. You know, we have good conditions for growing carrots. We usually have nice looking carrots early, and we have nice looking carrots later. So we do well with carrots. You know, we grow the Salanova. Not everyone grows the Salanova. Not everyone likes the Salanova, right? So we all kind of do different things. But the goal is to have more stuff more of the time, right? So I feel pretty good at my ability to push our season into the spring, right? Like we've done, especially because like I was saying, I'm already at the disadvantage of dealing with colder weather than other people. I'm not really ever behind. You know, I'm not ever really that much slower than most of the people. You know, my tomatoes are going to be delayed from everyone else, but in general, like I'm doing pretty good, right? But yeah, but on the fall, I sometimes suffer, right? Because on the fall, like my frost comes, it takes out all the summer crops, maybe before other people. And then when the fall hits, at that point, you know, I'm kind of like hunting. I'm hunting for things, right? So this last spring, we actually had some really excellent sorry, excellent. What am I trying to say? I mean, the chat's distracting me. It's very hard. It's hard to speak and have the chat. Yeah, we had some really excellent spring sales. Normally, our spring sales are like not that great because we're obsessed with choy, but it's hard to sell $1,000 of choy. But because of all these cool flowers, what you know, I'm basically talking about doing better in 2022 with all these seeds that I bought. Our cool flowers, having flowers ready way earlier than we've ever had before, had really made the difference for us. For the sales in the spring, right? And so sales in the summer are really good, but as we go into fall, sales slow down in the fall too, as all that's left is kind of, you know, storage carrots. We got like some beets, you know, a little bit of salad mix. You know, we last year did better because we had the dried flowers. But, you know, as soon as we lose the flowers, we lose a huge, you know, because flowers usually represent about 30 to 40% of our market sales, right? So that's a big loss to lose those. I'm doing some stuff with flowers that are frost tolerant. So I bought some sedums, and those can survive frost. You know, I'm gonna be trying to do even more exciting dried flowers this year, so that, you know, when we go down with the dried flowers, there's exciting and punchy. You know, but then I want to get a few more fall crops, kind of to complement all of that. Yeah.
You're
So
getting the
that's the
full
plan.
crop for me.
Yeah.
Umbrella.
What specifically? Leah's here. Or are you just talking about your tulips that are coming, or those plants that I ordered for you? Leah, I let Leah pick something out of the wholesale catalog, and she's very excited about it. But she also, you know, we ordered it. Like, I think we did our fall bulb shopping, like, super early. It was like March or April. Yeah. Oh, ornamental kales. Thank you. That's the other frost tolerant flower that I have. I have them started, and I'm going to be planting those out pretty soon. You know, and then I have the kale for greenery. You know, and there's a handful of other things that I can do. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm excited. Yeah, that's no such thing as too many seeds. Just not enough garden. Oh, too much cat fur. Okay. I need to get going, but I can do a few more minutes. So if we want to answer a couple questions, because I did it, guys. Like, I think I could say confidently that was like less than an hour to talk about seeds. You know, because I talked about merch too. Oh, there's way more people here, so let's talk about merch again. Third time's a charm. Okay, we got our merch. Ian's not here, and he ran away with his version. So this is Team Veggies. I'm representing Team Veggies. And then Ian's is ridiculous, and his is Team Flowers. But he showed up earlier in this video and ran away with it. But so the plan is that, because we've been waiting to get these samples in to see what the merch looks like printed out, because we're so excited about this merch. We want to make sure when we launch it, it actually is looking exactly how we want it to look. We want to be happy with it. And so, like, it's come in. I'm really happy with the t-shirts, the hoodies. I want to play with the placement a little bit. But the plan is that I am going to have them all set up in the store. They're not there yet, but I'm going to get them set up, and we're going to launch it on next Monday, right? So that'll be like, we'll talk about launching the merch probably for the next Monday's live video. We can chat about like our designing our silly merch. Okay, so I saw a question, do I save seeds? So I do not save seeds. Part of the reason why I don't save seeds is that I grow a lot of hybrids. And so you can't get a hybrid by just, like, you know, letting it go to seed and collecting seeds. You have to actually be intentional in your pollination. And another reason why I don't save seeds is that I want colors, right? So, you know, kind of like as I was going through all these flowers, you could kind of see a lot of the things I was buying in specific colors. Yet again, you can't have a patch of blue Bachelor buttons beside a patch of black Bachelor buttons and assume that the seeds that you save will be what you wanted them to be. So it's definitely worth the money for efficiencies for me to you know, buy it from proper seed growers. And then the final reason is that good proper seed saving, right? Like all of these seeds in these packs, these were grown by commercial seed farmers, right? These weren't someone who like walked along the sidewalk and deadheaded marigolds and like stuck them in their pocket and then sprinkled them in their garden. there is a lot of work and a lot of science to seed saving that I think a lot of people don't necessarily understand. And there's no world that I have time for that. There's so much work involved in seed saving that I don't even have the time to learn and teach you guys because it's so complicated. Though we are hoping that maybe this year we have a local seed company. We're hoping that maybe this year we can do a garden, like a farm tour with them, and then we can show you just exactly what is involved, right? Because there's you have like high tunnels that are like netted and they're like isolation. Or go check out if you want to understand just what's involved in seed saving on like a commercial scale. Like, every single one of these packets of seeds is like a miracle, right? Like, so go check out Flower Hill Farm, and she has like a whole series where she's talking with someone called Sunflower Steve, and it's his story about developing a single variety of sunflowers. It's not on the market yet, and it's already, like 7 or 8 years long of a story. I think people really don't recognize like every variety of a single plant is like someone's entire life's work. It's incredible, right? Like, so I highly appreciate it, and
I brought cherries.
I know, I'm excited, and all the respect, all the money to seed farmers. Thank you. I love you. Show your merch. I talked merch again because there's a bunch of people.
Oh yeah.
No, like, try to make it.
Well, it's hard because the tripod's right there.
Well, you're like,
It's hard.
Okay. Can you guys see? So Ian is Team Flowers.
Team flowers.
Yeah, so I was telling everyone we'll try to launch the merch for next Monday.
Yeah.
Right? So then we'll like talk about it for the video. Right? We can like tell the story. Because this merch has been months in the making. This merch was originally planned back when we made all of our other merch. That was like for Christmas time. Oh yeah.
And we've been laughing about it ever since.
Oh no. Well, we've been laughing at it. Oh yeah, because I came up with the idea as I was hunting for an artist to do the house. And I was like, oh, I have the best merch idea. And we were like, do it. And then we're like, no, it's going to take too long. Summer merch launch. So I would say two things that I've really like come to love in 2021 related to the YouTube channel is one, getting to like make up merch.
Yeah, you really
Making
like
up merch is so much fun, and it's like incredibly self-indulgent, guys. We are like, we're open to feedback, and we did actually make a piece of merch that was like a request, right? Like, because we made the writing one. Oh,
Okay.
Like someone wanted. Okay, so one of the merch items that was a request was the "Nothing will grow until something is planted" written merch.
Yeah.
Someone was like, oh, I'd love that as a piece of merch. And it was like, oh, and I think we actually got a couple. We did like a vote for the writing.
Yeah.
And then a few people recommended that, and then we like added it back in. Oh yeah, we totally should do the Ian's Productorium. Because I already have that designed. I just need to, because I made the logo for the...
And then we're going to have phrases on the back, right?
No, we weren't. But you keep saying phrases.
We sell stuff. There's
I find that, so the Teespring stuff, I find that the shirts are really nice. We pick the shirt and I make the most expensive shirt. Because because I don't like a heavy cotton short fat. I don't like a cotton poly short fat. I don't know about you guys. I think these are the men's that we're wearing. But the women's are shaped. I don't know. What do you think? Do they fit tree to size? I think Ian's in a small right now.
But I'm also petite Ian.
Or no, you're in a medium, but you fit a large better. And I'm wearing a men's medium, and it is the one I like.
But I'm down to my summer weight.
I know, you're skinny.
I know.
You're super skinny. Oh, wait. I saw another question. Someone was asking where the seeds are from. They're from Johnny Seeds, and I think at this point, I'm just going to buy everything from Johnny Seeds.
Yeah.
You know, we've bought from William Dam in the past, but I'm annoyed with them because they, nearly, destroyed my farm schedule. So I'm like, boo, I don't like you. I'm not buying from you. And, you know.
Demo.
Yeah, maybe. But I could also just buy the Johnny's Dima.
Yeah, but it's not as quick.
It's not as quick. That is true. But I also don't grow Dima for the farm because no one wants to buy Dima for the farm. I only grow it for us.
Yeah, but now I can trade it for falafel at the market. So you gotta get it for me.
That is true. The falafel is good. Yeah. Well, okay. And I can't buy cover crop from Johnny's. They don't sell cover crop to Canada. So I did buy my cover crop from William Dam Seeds.
Yeah.
But I was like I honestly the price at Johnny's is the only thing that's expensive for me as a Canadian buying from Johnny's is the shipping. The shipping's a little pricey. And I know I've heard fellow Canadians complain, right? So this order this was $800. This thing that I've unboxed here. It cost me $800 because it was $700 and then I had $100 of import fees. But import fees are just having to pay sales tax. So when you buy in Canada, you have to pay that anyways. So the import fees only really cost about $10 over the tax. But the shipping is really expensive because I think the flat rate shipping is $50 US, which is $75. So MI Gardeners, I know that they sell to Canada, but they you guys, I'm a seed snob. I don't know why. I don't know why.
They don't sell,
everyone doesn't already know this.
They don't sell in bulk packaging.
Yeah. So okay. So here's my rule for how. What?
I'm gonna go hang out with my parents.
Oh, well, did you want to say anything? Because I'm gonna finish too.
My family is visiting, so I'm gonna go spend some time with my parents. Because
why don't you tell them? Because that's probably not getting into the video.
What?
Just tell them about your parents visiting. That's nice.
That's what I just said. I thought.
The detail of you haven't seen them since COVID, right?
COVID. We haven't had a visit since COVID, so spent some time, and I was working out in the field all day today and yesterday.
Ian's been working hard. Ian can no longer allow me to say that he never weeds anything.
Yeah.
Because he's been weeding his life away.
I weeded the whole farm so I could get, whenever I want to take drone footage, I always go on a crazy cleaning spree before it. So the drone, because I'm like, oh, there's a thing in the field that looks distracting. That's immersion breaking.
But he's never like, oh, the scrap metal pile.
Well, I am, but some things don't have a place to go. So I was cleaning like crazy so I could take some sweet drone footage before the smoke makes it so that you can't see our farm from the house anymore.
The smoke's pretty bad.
It's not bad yet.
It's already pretty bad, but we're anticipating apocalyptic.
Yeah, because just up the road from us is bad. You might not be. We wouldn't be able to see the end of the property at some point in time.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's gonna happen this year.
Yeah. But anyways, thanks for joining us. As always, I wish I could have been here, but I was at the beach, and sometimes that has to happen because, like I said, I was in the field. It was 30.
No, why wouldn't you go? Right? That was about
30,
going with your parents.
But it was 35 degrees when I was working in the field today, and so
I was
just
like, it's an unboxing, Ian. Go
Yeah.
visit with your parents, and then you can stop in
Okay.
for a visit when you get back. Okay, how often are we... Okay, I'll do 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to go too. Okay, how often are we going to do the roadside stand? We are going to do it, is the plan. This year's gotten a lot more unorganized. But we're also regroup. Say what I'm trying to say. Okay. The farm this year, we had like really big plans. We were going to be doing all these Wednesday markets. Like, so for the Kelowna Farmers Market, we were going to do Wednesdays and Saturdays. And then our plan was to try to do like the roadside stand on Thursdays and maybe also Sundays. We were going to try to do lots and lots and lots of selling. We were also supposed to have the walk-in cooler done. Like, the goal was to like have the walk-in cooler done like April 1st. Ian was supposed to do it like in the winter. As you guys know, the walk-in cooler, is like the never-ending job. And then the YouTube has been like way busier than it was even over the winter. So it's been doing well. We've been like making enough money on the YouTube that I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of the sales time so that we can make sure that we're not missing any videos, right? Because if you go and you look back probably at last year, there's probably some weeks where we didn't get a video out. And definitely the year before, there's a couple month periods in during the growing season, because it's a lot of work, right? It's a lot. It's all day, every day for the farm. And then it's all night, every night to make YouTube videos. And sometimes we need to sleep. So basically, because my sales goal for the farm this year was to do $60,000, which is that's a significant money number, right? Like last year the goal was 30 and we did 28. Things still haven't been 100% normal with like COVID. Where we are, things like restrictions are lifting. We have great vaccination rates. We're getting into a period of time where everyone who wants to be vaccinated will be vaccinated coming up pretty soon. So our province is looking on track to have because we're a tourist area, so we're probably gonna have some good tourism. Other than the fact that the smoke. But yeah, so because of that, rather than sacrifice everything for the YouTube, focus on the selling, because I'm the one who's like, we have to sell everything. I planted 1 million things, you can sell them. He's like, no, calm down, don't worry about money. We're doing fine. We're making the money that we want to make every month. Because we have the employee this year, but basically you guys watching the videos is paying for the employee for us, which means that I don't need to worry about the sales on the farm not being high enough to pay the employee. We don't have to kill ourselves. This year, we'll make it all work out. So Ian's parents are visiting, so we're not doing the Wednesday markets with his parents visiting. After they're gone, we're hoping to pick up the Wednesdays, right now that we have more than enough food and the walk-in cooler's done. And then Ian doesn't really want to do Sundays. He'd like to because Sundays is a day that we really do work on the videos. The videos usually Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. We edit the video that we film on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But yeah, so we probably won't do roadside stands on Sundays. But I do want to try to be doing it on Thursdays. I think that's going to be a good day for it. And we also sell just like out of our carport. We have like a little fridge and everything. And a lot of our regular customers are, showing back up again. They've started buying from us again. So we do sell in this other way that's not like flashy and showy. And I don't know that we'll necessarily, unless like the theme of the video is showing the roadside stand, we probably won't show it every time because we only have enough time to show a harvest and market video, only one a week. And then maybe I can do like my monthly farm tours in addition to the weekly tour. And tomorrow we're super excited because tomorrow we're going to go and we're going to do a farm tour with someone else. And this is something that we've been talking about for the last year of wanting to be able to show you guys some of these like incredible farms in our area. So we're excited to see what we can pull off with that and like what the workflow will be to edit up a video like that. But we may be able to put out some second videos, or if not, they'll kind of be saved up and then released in the winter when we don't have as much going on, and so we have more time to work on the videos. But so that is the very long-winded story about how often we're doing the farm stand, which is basically, we're not overly worried. We're not worried about food waste, because any leftover food from the market that like we don't eat, because our markets have been doing quite well. We haven't had a ton of food left over. A lot of it has kind of just been getting eaten by us. But like, so this week we have a ton of leftover food, but it just goes down to the food bank. Our food bank opens up for donations on Tuesdays. And so basically our plan all along, once we had the walk-in cooler, was the workflow is everything goes Tuesday morning down to the food bank. And so if it doesn't get sold, it's still getting to people to eat, and that's what matters to me personally. So I'm not too bummed if we don't sell 7 days a week like crazy. Serena in the back of my head is like, oh, we gotta sell everything. But yeah. Okay, one more question. I don't know. Get one more question and then I'm gonna go. But unless no one has questions. I know the chat always gets kind of quiet at this point. And this is kind of, which works out well, because this is the time when I can actually, when the chat is quiet, is when I can actually look over at the chat. Oh, the walk-in cooler. Yes, the walk-in cooler is done. Oh, and you know what? We still haven't mentioned this at all, and I don't think it's been in a video. Yeah, so the walk-in cooler got done. We were using it on Thursday. So in the video, we're like showing some of like the done walk-in cooler, which is coming up. So we got rid of the chickens during the heat wave. It was just so much work. The chickens, they make us no money anyways. The main purpose kind of for the chickens was just to every once in a while be able to film them, to put them on the videos. And our son, he had fun going and like playing with the chickens. But we just have too many projects every day. Ian, was spending like an hour of like walking back and forth to open up the chicken coop and to get them water and all this stuff. So we ended up giving them away to someone who had, who already had some chickens. So, it was easy for them to kind of just add them in. And a part of what made the decision so easy for us is, we had chickens because we wanted to have farm fresh eggs. But our neighbor next door has like 400 chickens. And so we can get day-old eggs from him, you know, and like all of our, like, we have great neighbors, right? Like our neighbor beside us, he's like always giving us cherries, you know, like when we're always like bringing food over to the neighbors too. So, you know, the neighbor, like, since we got rid of the chickens, and we still have like, we have so many eggs still, you know, like they're getting to be a couple weeks old, so like we got to use them up. But you know, he's like, oh, when can I give you eggs? When can I give you eggs? And we're like, we'll take eggs. Like he's like, oh, you brought me vegetables, like take eggs. And we're like, no, we don't need eggs. You know, we don't eat that many eggs anyways. So yeah, we're happy with the decision. Everything's set up for chickens to have again in the future. You know, and yeah, and they were lazy. They they didn't, their job was to get rid of the grasshoppers. They didn't get rid of the grasshoppers. So they're out of here. Too much work. Yeah, and then, you know, in a few years from now, when the farm is a little bit more established, you know, we can get chickens again, or ducks, because that's what we really want. Ducks are so cute, but we have no water, so they're not actually the best thing to get. Yeah, no, the chickens were not pets. The chickens were definitely chickens. The cats are pets. The chickens were supposed to be there to make eggs, but they weren't doing great. And so, you know, better to go to a place where, and we have so little shade here, you know, that was part of the determining factor, right? It was, we just don't have enough shade for them to be living their healthiest life. They really do need to be being under trees in this area. It's just so hot. We didn't lose any in the heat, luckily, but I know that a lot of the neighbors who have the chickens, they were losing the chickens. Just, it's, you know, just too hot for them. Okay, so I made an Instagram story. I had to go to the hospital. It was like a breathing issue. I don't 100% know what it is. But it's going to be in the video, so, you know, no spoilers, but drama for the video. But yeah, we missed the market because I had to go get checked out. You know, we're like, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how the American system works, but, you know, like clinics, like doctors to go get checked out are open. You know, there's a lot of stuff that you can't get checked out by a doctor. You just have to go to the hospital. And then when you go to the hospital, you know, like, takes forever. So anytime you go to the hospital, it's like you lose a day. That's like, you know, that's part of the reason why in one of the videos a little bit back, we talked about like Ian having to go get stitches, you know, and it being like, oh, you know, like you got to make the call to go get stitches, because if you have like a cut that's breaking open and not healing properly, that's like, you know, that's going to cause issues. So you're better off to go get stitches. But, you know, every time you have to go get stitches, you have to like go to the hospital to do it. So it's like, it takes like 6 hours just to go get stitches. So it makes it hard to drop everything and like, you know, drop a day to like go get stitches. And we've made the mistake in the past of Ian not getting stitches when he should have, and then it's been a hassle. But we are like, you know, kind of at the point where it's like, oh, let's just like buy, like, you know, because it like, it's not like getting stitches hurts. It's just like a hassle. And it's not like we like care about like, oh, we have like a scar on our hands. So it's like, oh, maybe we just need to get the like stitches kit, and so we can do it from home. But there are some things that, you know, you got to go and get checked out at the doctor. So that's what was going on. I'm fine. Nothing overly scary. Oh, and then the last question there that I saw was about the fires. So it's pretty bad here. which is like why like I think I had to go to the hospital to get checked. It's like it's really smoky. But like there's no fires directly near us. Our issue is that where we live is this valley, and the way the weather works is it like traps pollution in the heat of the summer. You know, in the winter we stay pretty warm because it traps clouds into the valley. So it's super gray, but we don't get like freezing cold in the winters. But yeah, so any sort of smoke gets really trapped in here. But there's a really big fire in Kamloops. I don't know exactly how big it is, but it's like, you know, like it's big. It's, you know, like, you know, it's probably burning. It's probably the size of like a medium-sized European nation. You know, like you know, BC's massive. So like when we have a big fire, it's like massive. It's like, you know, it's like, you know, like it fills smoke in all of like Western North America. But there's like a million. There's a million of them like going, right? Like they're like a million tiny ones. And it's super early for fire season here. So it's gonna be, for air quality, it's gonna be a really rough it's gonna be a really rough year. You know, we almost, like, the worst year was the first year that we moved here, and we're preparing for that again. Because we've had no rain, we have this like extreme drought. And then that heat wave, you know, basically like cooked off any sort of moisture that was there. But yeah, so yeah, lots of fires. But yeah, okay, I gotta go now. But thanks so much. Yeah, get my gas mask for sure. My dad hooked us up. He got me a case of some N95 masks, but we have like the respirator things, and then they need to get washed and new filters, and we wear that during the smoke. We do wear, you know, we wear masks outside for the smoke. Okay, yeah. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for hanging out. We were like blown away by how many people watched the live video last week. I think it was last week. There was like 20,000 people who watched that live video. I'm like, I don't even know what we talked about in that video. Like, this one's a 20,000er because all those seeds. But yeah. Okay, thanks so much, guys. We got the video coming out on Wednesday. Fingers crossed is the plan. Yeah, and we'll have another live video next week. So thanks for hanging out. Okay, see you next time.